Thanks for tuning in. This is Matt and
Jesse.
Thanks to the Round Table, bringing to you a review
of Mariposas.
So first, how we ended up with this. This is probably the newest game in our collection.
Yes.
This is from my BGG Secret Santa this past year, 2020, and I had thrown it on the list because I heard good things about this. Wingspan was not interesting. I have not played Wingspan, but it was not on my radar. But when I heard this with the Monarch Butterfly theme, I put this on my list because we have ourselves, we do milkweed out front, and the kids love having the butterflies every year around August for us.
We actually catch caterpillars and we release the butterflies. The kids get to watch them cocoon and stuff, so we actually do a thing.
So I thought maybe this would be appealing to the kids to play as well.
Apparently not so much.
Well, our daughter played. So overall, the game is set collection, action selection with cards, and you're going to be moving on a board. So there's a couple different things. This nice little mixture of things. The board itself is thick, and
it's nice.
It's a very stylistic art. This is part of it, but it's very not efficient, but
eye-catching.
Eye-catching, but effective. Like effective board. Like everything's on here well designed because your objectives are clear. Your score track's great. References as far as what goes on in each season is pretty well laid out with how you get the butterflies and what you got to trade in for them. So like everything's on the board that you really need once you get used to the iconography. It does come with a second board. This is to do with the set collection aspect of the game. So this is really, it's functional. They could have done just decks of cards that we placed out.
Yeah, they could have.
But it's nice they went the little extra mile and they make its own board.
All right, so I've got the butterflies, and I wanted to point these out because for such little things, they have painted an amazing amount of detail on them. And I think they're really cool. They've got, like, they're fun to play with. And I love the butterflies. They're like actually one of my favorite parts of the game.
The other awesome bit that the extra AG went with is the bins we put the flower tokens in these. And they're nice little tray bins. So you can just take the lid off, and then you got the flower bins, lay them out on the table. Very efficient use, very effective, nice way, so it's less bags on the table, in the box.
Less bags in the box.
The organizer inside the box with the cardboard to give you slots is perfect. Even if they came out with some expansions somehow with like maybe more cards, that'd be very integrated easily. I can't see them expanding this though.
No, I don't think it needs an expansion.
There's very little, but they're mini cards. The cards are small for your set collection. For your actions, they're again small cards, so not big. The dice is wooden dice with all the flowers on it. Now, what you need all these things for is because you're starting in central Mexico, and you're traveling the Monarch Path up through North America into possibly the edges of Canada, and then you got to make it back to Mexico. What's really nice is the seasons cards. It's their way of influencing the weather. So there's a spring, fall, and autumn. Or wait, no, spring, summer, fall. Sorry, spring, summer, autumn. So there's plenty of variability because you get like 5 to 6 scoring cards for each, and the scoring cards will influence you on how you track your path.
And you only play one each game.
For each season.
So, yeah, the combos are almost, never the same.
So that's really a big plus. And the scoring does make you feel like, oh, there was a big storm that maybe moved through the hurricane season, so no butterflies were tracking on the East Coast. They're all going through the central U.S.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a really bad, I don't know, drought in the central U.S. that forces all the butterflies to the East Coast. So the cards really do put you into which way are you going to fly. The cities have way stations, and that's where the set collection comes in. So there's tokens that you're just going to shuffle out and throw out there on cities. You can get a random flower from those cities, and then that's where you get the set collection cards. And if you get a full set, then you get a special power. It might be an extra scoring bonus or extra movement that no one else has.
And that changes too. They've got several in that you can pull from, and you select 3, and that's what you get. So even these are not consistent for every single game.
So overall, that's the components. We have played several times, mostly 2-player. We have played a 3-player game. Anything else about the components that we missed?
I don't think so.
So again, this isn't a how-to, just getting a rough feel for how the game plays. What do you think about the gameplay? What about like the movement?
So the movement is interesting because you can only pick 2 cards, and so it's very specific, and you really have to think about what you want to do. If you're going to try and collect the sets, you need to move your butterflies one way. If you're going to try and collect flowers, then you need to try and do something else. And you can't have 2 of the same movement card. So that makes it a little interesting too.
Yeah, there's a balance of.
It's a balance.
You move 2? Can you move twice, 2 each? Can you move 3 times once? So those that let you move twice or 3 times are powerful because you can get like 3 flower tokens in a turn.
But then you only moved 1 tile, which means you didn't get very far on your journey.
Where other times you can make that big leap and go, oh, here's 4 spaces for you. But it makes you really thinky about like what card do you play when, and if you're really just hammered with no movement of 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, you got to make that strategy work somehow.
Yep.
I would say from our plays, no one's been totally hamstrung on their movement. They were able to achieve the victory goal for that season if they wanted to.
I don't know, because a couple of times I've gotten hamstrung with flowers. Like, because I couldn't move, I couldn't get the flowers.
I'm not talking about flowers. I'm talking about victory conditions. You can score the points. Yes. But yeah, flowers are...
Sometimes you need the flowers for the victory conditions.
And when we're talking about the flower tokens, you trade them in. That's the pollen to spawn the next generation of butterfly, because the monarch doesn't go from Mexico up and back in one lifespan. It's 4 lifespans. So you're playing out the 4 because you got to trade in tokens to get the next butterfly.
Yep.
So it really gets, and you can only spawn on milkweed, and that's spread out through the board. So you can't spawn everywhere. You got to work to get the flower tokens, work to get to the spawn point. But I think the spawn points are pretty spread out, so you have...
They are pretty spread out. Sometimes you're like, man, I really want to get there, but the spawn point's over there. And, I mean, there is a set number of turns per each round. So, you know, if you don't move your butterfly quite high enough or far enough, you kind of get stuck.
So, yeah, talking about that, and it's on the board, too. Because fall is 6, summer is 5, and I think spring is 4. Yeah.
Yes.
So you only get 4 cards to play. So 4 movement cards, 5 movement cards, 6 movement cards, and that's it.
And that's it. So it's very limited. And so yeah, there are times when you're like trying to move your butterflies to gain the victory point sets, or to try and get back to Mexico, and you got to make up your mind which one you want to get to. Okay.
So hopefully that gives you an idea about some of the mechanics. Anything else? Moving, scoring is all dictated on how many of those set collection cards, because you basically get a point for every card, which is great.
Yes.
You're not penalized for not, because those cards can be spread out everywhere. So you might not be able to get all the greens. You don't know where all the greens are, or the mauve or the blue. So everyone does give you a point. It gives you a bonus if you get all set though. You also get victory points. It's exponential on the butterflies. So at the bottom of the board here, depending on how many Generation 4 butterflies you get down in here, will dictate how many points you score.
By the way, I don't think we've ever had more than one each.
No, we've had 3. We've been able to get 3.
Who got 3?
I did.
Aren't you scared?
I got a double and a single.
Oh, yeah.
Because Generation 4, you can actually spawn them again, and it becomes a double. Or there's a scoring card where if you spawn at a certain point, it automatically made you a double.
That's right.
Flock. So it all comes down to those scoring cards and really thinking of, okay, where do I want to go, and what does the scoring give us?
Yep.
We played one game with our daughter, and she did really bad in the spring, but she nailed it for the rest, and she was able not to be last place.
Yeah, I was.
So, and that was her first time playing, and she was, like, looking at the game very differently from us.
Yeah.
So that's, like, really cool.
I think that about covers it.
Okay. So, final thoughts?
It's a really good game. I wasn't sure how it was going to play because I'm like, it's butterflies. But when you're playing the game, you actually feel like you're taking butterflies and you're flying them around North America to try and repopulate, and, you know, you're collecting things, and it gives you the feel of butterflies. So it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy it. Yeah, there we go. I like it.
I definitely really do like this, and I think the enjoyment will go much higher if it's a bigger player count. I think because there's certain cards that let you use other people's cards they use for movement. So the more players you have, the more options you get if you get those cards. I think every game we played, at least everyone's had that at least once.
Yeah.
So it just gives you that ability of, like, do you wait, let people play out more cards? That way you can, like, oh, maybe you didn't get any long movement cards and you need that one long movement card, and you just wait for someone else to play it. Maybe they'll never play it. So there is a little benefit to more players.
There is.
I think the game's not tight based on the player count, which I like. Like Viticulture. Viticulture is really tight for the worker placement slots.
Yes.
And it gets really vicious. This isn't vicious. It's a nice, you're playing your own game. There's really no interaction between people because you can land on each other's spots.
Yeah, I can stack my butterfly and your butterfly, and it doesn't matter. And
it's really friendly that way. So there's really no reason not to help someone. Like, if someone's newer to gaming and thinking like this is an awesome game because there is no, like, competitiveness as far as there's the score track, but you can really help each other work through the game and think through the game. If someone's, like, newer to, and you're trying to get them into a heavier game, like, this is not a gateway game to me, but
it's probably like the next tier up.
Yeah, and it gets them exposed to some different ways of looking at games. It's a very neat game for how it's designed. So I definitely encourage you, like, if you haven't seen this, haven't played this, give it a try. Because I think what it does is very unique, innovative in the sense of the theme is there. I think the theme is really there with if you look at the weather patterns, I kind of like weather. So it's like, I can see it. But the friendliness of the game where it's not cutthroat, like, oh, you know what? I can't let you help you because you're going to take my spot. So I definitely encourage, like, this is awesome. I'm really excited that I got it. And then when she was super excited, that made me even better because she's like, I want to play it again. I want to play it again. I want to play it again. So check out Mariposas by Elizabeth Hargrove, also the designer of Wingspan. This one's from AEG, though. And I doubt they're going to do any expansions, but it's a solid game to give you good replayability.
Oh, it's got good replayability.
I mean, you might get like there's no way to like map a strategy.
No, because your cards are always different, and the goals are always different, and everything's just different.
So if you're someone who really needs that, like, I want to get in depth and script this game out, like Power Grid, or I'm trying to think of another one. There's a couple games out there that you really script out your movements and dive into the game that way. And this is not it. This is more. This is what you got. What you're gonna do with what you got.
Yep.
But it's not mean. Because I even think them giving you the benefit of more turns as the game goes on is a really big benefit.
Yeah. Because
I think it has that built-in, like, no matter what, every game, that spring is almost like a tutorial.
Yeah.
Getting used to, oh, it's only 4 turns, really get going. Oh, now at summer and autumn, you can really plan out your strategy of, like, okay, what do I need to really do to finish this out? So, check out Mariposas. We both enjoyed, I think.
Yep.
And thanks for watching.